When I was maybe 12, I was exposed to Super Mario 64 ROM hacks. It was a pretty exciting time. I've always loved the more open-ended 3D Mario games, and in a pre-Odyssey world, I was very much starving at the time. So to see that so many fans were making new content using Mario 64 as a base was the coolest thing imaginable. That scene has only grown since then, and to a very significant degree. The game's basically open source now, allowing for so much more than what I'd ever dream of. However, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty disappointed that my favorite game, Super Mario Sunshine, received next to no love, even if later 3D Mario games did. I remember specifically looking up Mario Sunshine custom content, and the only thing I can find is this one video of a custom level that's based off an unused level from the original game with no download. And that's it. And this is all thankfully changed, so I thought it'd be fun making a video showcasing some of the bigger hacks and mainly focusing on my favorite, Super Mario Sunshine Arcade 2. Before I start, I'd like to talk about how I'm playing these hacks. Though most of these hacks do work on real hardware, or at least on the Wii through Nintendo, I'm playing these on Dolphin in 1080p widescreen with an HD texture pack. You can also play these in 60 FPS with the Gecko code, but that breaks the music sometimes, making it not play when the game has to load a new song sometimes, or even getting stuck in the first note. Yeah, not worth it in my opinion. The widescreen code isn't perfect either, but I'd rather have it than not. The HD texture pack by Quashto and Razius, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, is also pretty good. There's some AI upscale textures here, but it mostly looks good. For the most part, I think it's actually a really accurate and high quality texture pack. Some things look noticeably different, like the palm tree leaves, but they still look really nice in their own right. Honestly, my biggest issue with this pack is the nittiest of picks, but I don't like the angle the shine sprite is facing in the HUD. I know. This is my favorite game, let me complain. I also noticed that the Pianta flag and balloon UI textures aren't changed. I don't know if that's a limitation or if they just forgot. Either way, it's a little jarring. This texture pack covers the vanilla game only, but most hacks I'm talking about in this video uses almost exclusively vanilla textures, so I'll be using it throughout most of the video. It also fixes the falling stars issue, which happens when you play the game in widescreen. This unfortunately also means that you won't see the stars fly out of Mario when he bonks, but it's worth it, I think. Some hacks I cover in this video have native widescreen that fix this issue, so just remove the Falling Stars folder if you're playing one of those and you'll be good. I forgot to do that for these hacks, so oops. You can find most of these things in the Dolphin wiki, which also tells you of any issues Sunshine has in Dolphin and how to fix them and what enhancements you can add. The only Gecko code I'd like to add that the wiki seems to be missing is the one that lets you skip cutscenes by pressing start. I'll put that and links to everything else I talk about in this video in the description. Don't apply these codes to hacks that have an options menu like this because they're redundant and break things. As for the actual game part of this video, there's quite a few projects out there right now and I do want to talk about those at the end, but for this video I want to focus on Super Mario Sunshine Arcade 2, created by Og's SMS Hacks. This is kind of an old hack now, coming out back in 2019 with the original coming out the year before. The reason I'm not covering the original is because 2 isn't actually a sequel, it's closer to a Sonic 3 and Knuckles situation where the first half of 2 is just the levels from 1. So yeah, skip 1 is what I'm saying. I've actually been aware of this mod since around the time it came out, but it just didn't really appeal to me. It looked like a pretty simplistic mod that's basically just stringing together a bunch of new secret levels together, and yeah, that is what it is, but I decided to actually try it out because I like Sunshine a whole lot, and getting 100% and playing various other mods within a couple weeks apparently wasn't enough for me. I do love the secret stages from the original game, but I wasn't convinced those kind of levels can carry an entire game. That combined with the fact that it'd be very obviously missing some of my favorite things from the original game like the exploration and world building, it just didn't seem like my thing. I was wrong. I was so wrong. This may not be the flashiest ROM hack out there, but to me at least, I think it might be the funnest. Granted, a ton of that comes from how much I adore Sunshine's movement, but I promise this is a genuinely really well designed and challenging game. I was having the time of my life playing this. In fact, I was having so much fun that I wasn't even intending to review this game when I initially played it. I just liked it that much, and I played it a second time for this video, and I still had a wonderful time. This is just such a fun game, man. So, since my motivation on my Sonic 1 video has been very low for quite a while just for how massive it is, I thought doing something smaller in the meantime would help with that. After actually finishing the script at this point, I can say that this is not as short as I had in mind, but whatever, that's just how things go sometimes. But yeah, I've been utterly obsessed with Sunshine lately, and I've been going down the Sunshine hacking rabbit hole, so why not make a video on this cool hack I just played, along with all these other cool hacks that I played and have developed opinions on over the past few weeks. Like I said before, Super Mario Sunshine Arcade 2 is basically one massive string of secret levels, being a total of 96. Yeah, 96! This hack is pretty massive. For a frame of reference, that's as many non-blue coin shines the original game has. It's not just the raw platforming you might expect, there's red coin challenges, 100 coin challenges, and a lot of other creative stuff you never expect. The game even fully utilizes both Flood and Yoshi in many spots, sometimes even making you start with Flood, which never happened in the original secret stages. I absolutely love this fake Il Piantissimo who swears he's real. He challenges you to a race where he gives himself a really easy and straightforward path while giving you a much more dangerous one, but he's also really slow. This guy is literally the Sonic Man of the Mario series. At the end of the game, he admits the fake Il Piantissimo is faster than him, so I guess the implication is that the one we know is fake, which actually makes too much sense now that I think about it. There's a bunch of one-off challenges I really liked. There's one at Peanut Park where this guy dropped 100 coins, so he'll just kill you for touching a single one. Another one makes most of the terrain invisible, so you have to either spray ahead of you to see where the floor is, or use things like trees or coins to guide you. Actually, quick interjection here, because since I wrote this in the script, I have learned that this is not intentional. This is a bug that can be found in both Nintendo and newer versions of Dolphin. There is in fact a level that's supposed to be visible here, and even while I'm recording this, I have yet to see it. There is apparently a fix for this, but I haven't looked into it at all because I like the stage as is. So honestly, I'm just gonna keep it broken. I like it broken. My favorite is a level that opens up with Inoki telling Mario that the cops are after him, and after you get too close to one, they just throw you to your death. This got such a good laugh out of me, but it's also such a creative and fun twist on one of Sunshine's most famous mechanics. This one actually helped me too, which was a little unexpected. This game does that a lot actually. There's a lot of different ways the game uses Sunshine's mechanics in ways that the original game didn't. This game has multiple levels centered around platforming while carrying fruit. This limits Mario's mobility in that you can't dive or grab onto ledges. The original Sunshine only ever had you carry fruit in safe areas, but not at all the case here. There's a whole level built around swinging on wires, which is such a fun thing you can do in Sunshine, but I only ever do it once in my runs. There's another level where you have to use Yoshi's insane jumping capabilities, which again, Sunshine never makes you do. Another one is centered around kicking around this durian pretending to be a watermelon, and I kinda wish there wasn't. I just think Durian's physics are way too janky in this game to ask for this much precision. I do love the callback to the original game's Watermelon Festival and how this guy won with his tiny melon because no one else wanted to get up to this giant Mario Kart track in the sky. There's multiple levels that have you use the turbo nozzle, which Sunshine did pretty sparingly. There's another level built around jumping on these block boos without turning them into blocks first. There's one that focuses on spraying them to turn them into blocks, which can be pretty janky admittedly with how much they like to warp down, but it's otherwise fun even if I did find myself in this impossible scenario that wasn't fun, but whatever, it was a one-time thing. Another few have you climbing around on these cages like the underside of Pianta Village, which is a system I entirely skip in the original game. Deep Sea Noki Bay has you collecting the red coin fish without swimming. Another level makes heavy use of these swing springs, which felt entirely pointless in the original game, and probably a lot more than I'm forgetting. Seriously, if there was anything in Sunshine that you thought was underutilized, it's probably used pretty effectively in this. You even have to use Mario's various jumps pretty effectively in this, while in the original Sunshine, you really didn't. You won't have to do any advanced speedrun techniques or anything, even if you see me do some in this footage. So even if you don't even know what a landing spin jump is, don't worry, you'll be fine. I'm just so in love with how they utilize basically everything that the original game didn't do enough. Except for the blooper surfing. Blooper surfing was a pretty fun thing that the original game did 3 times. 2 of those giants were the same thing, and all 3 are actually faster to do without the blooper if you know what you're doing. This game doesn't use them a single time, though maybe the creator just likes the turbo nozzle more, which is pretty similar in functionality, so yeah, fair enough if that's the case. But dude, I am so impressed with how many ways they found to to use already existing Sunshine mechanics in entirely new and natural feeling ways. Like, I really think that there's a high chance that Nintendo intended to use a lot of these things in the same way this hack does, but, you know, Sunshine was such a rushed game that just didn't happen. And this hack does manage to do that with 96 levels. There's 12 worlds, with each world having 8 levels. Each world is based off a level from the original game, with each level being represented, and even some levels being represented by 2 worlds, like with Serena Beach having both the beach and hotel sections, and Noki Bay having both the bay and the deep sea. The last one especially made me excited. I absolutely love the way the original area looks. I love that Mario keeps his fishbowl helmet, and the music is one of the best songs in the series. And you barely hear it in the original game, but it gets a whole world here. I really loved how they went about translating these levels into more abstract interpretations to fit the much more platforming heavy levels. Some of them aren't as great, like Delfino Plaza does have a cool reflection, but it's literally just the plaza in the background otherwise, though I do like these Delfino Plaza-like platforms a lot. The beach section of Serena Beach doesn't really feel like Serena Beach outside of the music, and I wish there was more going on in the background in the deep sea, even if I still love how this level looks a lot. But man, a lot of these look really cool. Peanut Park having the roller coaster wrap around the whole level and these grassy blocks covered in flowers. It's so cool looking, and I especially love these bouncy Yoshi go-round platforms. Even if I wish there was actually a background, I still love how the deep sea looks. I love all these fish that are just casually swimming alongside Mario, and these submarines taken from Rico Harbor in the original game fit really well. There's this underwater glass tube level, and it's just the coolest looking thing, man. I especially love this little Pianta hidden inside his own little dome. I know this all might sound really small, but I can't help but appreciate these new interpretations after playing the original levels as much as I have. They do a lot more to make these levels feel like the levels are based off of that goes beyond just the theming, mainly the different types of obstacles and platforms. You see these cranes used a lot in Rico Harbor, cages are used in Peanut Park, Noki Bay has an emphasis on wires to traverse through, and so on. Once again, seeing these obstacles used in these new contexts allow the game to do a lot of different things that the original Sunshine never did, mainly because you lack flood or at least certain nozzles for a lot of these. My favorite example was these fire and spike platforms in Corona Mountain. In the original game, thanks to the hover nozzle, these are a non-issue, but here, oh no, that's not the case at all here. These actually require timing now, and it's really fun and challenging. It made me realize that Sunshine would have been better if it restricted the hover nozzle more in areas instead of just taking away flood for secret levels and the Goopy Inferno only. Yeah, that's another thing, this game is pretty tough if you haven't noticed. The original secret stages are basically the sole reason Sunshine is seen as the hardest 3D Mario game, and these are way harder than even those. It really makes the original levels feel like nothing, which I adore because they are nothing to me. I still really like them, but I rarely die in them now. I've just played them way too much at this point, but I've definitely died in these stages quite a few times. They're definitely not on a Kaizo level or anything. No, I'll cover that later. But they're much harder than anything you'd see in the original. To me, that's only a good thing. I was having the time of my life playing these because Sunshine's movement is just too good to not push me to this degree. It really was the perfect difficulty to me because it's not like I spent too long on any one level except for this one, so I was able to keep the pace going while being adequately challenged. Infinite lives too, so you don't have to worry about that. There is a life counter and even 1-ups to find, but your life count never actually lowers, so I don't really know why they have 1-ups to begin with, but hey, I like seeing the number go up. My one issue is I feel the difficulty balance isn't great. Sans Hotel, which is based off of Hotel Delfino, is at the halfway point, and I think that might have actually been the second hardest world. Yeah, these levels were surprisingly easy to me. I even got the blue coin and finished the last level in one go in my first playthrough. Not my second, though. Yeah, not the worst issue because I was still having a wonderful time, but I was definitely expecting to be pushed more by the end. Honestly, I think the ending in Arcade 1 is a lot better. That one isn't insane or anything, but it's definitely a gauntlet of a level at least. Oh yeah, this game has blue coins. There's one in each level, meaning there's a total of 96. These are designed the way you'd expect. They're either hard to find, hard to get, or both. I really liked going after these. Unlike the base game, they're never outright obscure. Some of them are pretty well hidden, but I only needed to look up one in Rico Harbor. This whole level is based around talking to these two Piantas to change your nozzles and running back and forth to play through the level in a completely different way. And you get the blue coin by going out of your way to talk to the first Pianta after the shine has already spawned. It's a really cool idea for a level, and the blue coin itself fits really well with that idea. I just wasn't thinking about the level concept when scouring the level for a blue coin. The problem with these is that you don't have to worry about dying at all after getting these to keep them. I realize that's probably a restriction of Sunshine modding, but it made some blue coins that would have been otherwise really hard, really easy. Probably the biggest example is the one in Corona Mountain. You're supposed to come back to this spot with a flood you find later in the level, and with only a rocket nozzle, this would be really hard. But then I just grabbed the coin in the fire and it worked. There was also one in Pianta Village I'm actually still not sure how you're supposed to get without dying. I ended up doing this Y-turn spin jump to get it. It worked, it just took a death to get it. You don't get much for getting all of them, just the sunglasses and shirt from the original game. I'd complain about the reward, but it's something that you do more for the fun of it than anything, and it's still better than the 100% reward in the original game. You also get this small hub world to run around in at the end. It's good for if you miss any blue coins on your way. The game thankfully even marks any levels with blue coins you missed. I missed exactly one in my first playthrough, so it was bothering me that my blue coin number was off by 1. So I would have liked if this hub wasn't locked until the very end. I'd assume it is because they couldn't lock any levels you haven't beaten yet, so you can't use it until the game is done. Like I said before, Arcade 2 isn't the flashiest hack out there. It's a hack that primarily uses assets found in the original game with few exceptions, and of course lacks a lot of the things that made Sunshine unique. But that's not the point in the game. It's a really fun, well-designed game that uses Sunshine's mechanics in ways that the original game never did, and for that, it's one of my favorite hacks, possibly my favorite. Super Mario Sunshine Arcade 2 is legitimately fantastic, and I recommend any fan of the original game to check it out, as long as the idea of harder secret levels sounds appealing to you. The cool thing is, this is one of those hacks that actually works on original hardware, so if you have a way to play GameCube games on your GameCube or Wii, then you can play this. You don't need to be able to run Dolphin. Modding the Wii is also really easy to do, so honestly there's no excuse not to. Actually, most of the hacks I want to cover in this video work on a modded Wii too. And yeah, I want to cover more, so let's start that now. The first one I want to cover is Super Mario Sunshine Online, a mod made by Angry Max and Master Matt K. Angry Max in particular has a pretty cool Sunshine channel that I recommend checking out, by the way. I lost my mind when I first learned of this mod's existence because this is a dream mod for me. I've been wanting this exact thing for years, ever since 64 Online became a thing. And yeah, this actually works a lot better than I thought it would. You can play as other characters in this. Shadow Mario was my favorite, so you'll be seeing a lot of him in this footage, but I did make sure to get some variety in there. I played a 120 shine run with my friends, but being the only person who actually knows of the blue coin locations, I was doing almost exclusively that after not very long. I still had a great time, but we're probably going to do 96 shine runs in the future, so not every online run is the same for me. Other than that, it was just inherently fun experiencing my favorite game with some of my best friends. I even taught them some of the easier speedrun tricks like boat skip and rocket storage. That was fun.
I'm letting go of the right.
Oh my god.
No, don't do that. Let go of the left trigger as it's about to fill up. But don't let go of the R trigger.
How high am I? Holy cow.
I don't see you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so far up in the air.
I don't see you if that means anything. I see your shadow.
The boats sailing. I'm getting there. Do not have a parachute.
Oh, I see you! Hi!
Oh wow, we timed it.
I was hoping I'd do that.
Catch me!
I'm getting to you slowly.
Who's gonna get there first?
I will. You bumped.
Yeah, you will.
No.
There's a couple other modes beyond the co-op, being hide and seek and manhunt. We had so much fun with hide and seek in this. It's what you think it is, and that combined with Sunshine's great movement, it's so good. It's so good, man. I absolutely love how Mario's wahoos are recontextualized in this to fill you with dread as your impending doom is yahooing straight towards you. And man, being chased when you're caught is literally the most intense Sunshine gameplay I've ever had, and it is so fun. I also just had a great time messing with my friends. There was one time where I was waiting on one of the smaller islands in Delfino Plaza. I saw Dylan swimming up, so I climbed up to the tree, fully expecting I'd have to jump off and swim away as he's climbing up. Only to struggle to conceal my laughter as I saw him swim away, not even noticing me. There was another time during the same match where I glitched to walk underwater behind the Shine Gate, so I can then later laugh hysterically watching Dylan struggle to swim to me.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
You'll never make it.
I see you, Dylan. I can see you from here.
I was gonna try and do the fancier one.
You can see Dylan from the.
Not anymore. Not anymore. But I saw.
Yeah, I
you.
know where you were. I'm just trying to figure out where you would be in order to see that.
I'm in a very. You would never guess based off
Okay.
that. I'm literally looking through a wall right now to see that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Again, this is a funny spot. I want to be.
Okay, you
found.
obviously can see you from there, so it's like I'm trying to figure out where on the map that would be though.
Are you playing the Shine Gate again?
Yep.
Yep. That answers that question. Hi, Brendan!
Hey, come get me! Come get me!
How are you running underwater, by the way?
I had to teach him how to do this glitch in real time as he was trying to get me. It was so fun using these glitches I've known about for at least a decade to mess with my friends, allowing me to use these really simple glitches in entirely new ways. Like, that's just such a unique experience I can't get from anything else, and I really appreciate this mod for allowing me to do that. There was also Manhunt, but I think this one is more geared towards speedrunners. The point is to get as many shines as you can as you're running away from your friends, because otherwise your health ticks down slowly whenever they're close. But at least to us, it was kind of a mess without any way to track the target. I've seen speedrunners have the time of their life playing this, but I'm not convinced casual players will feel the same. That or you just need more than 3 players for this, and yeah, I can see it being that too. Even if I didn't have a great time with Manhunt personally, I cannot express enough how much fun I had with the other 2 modes. Out of every mod in this video, this one might be my favorite, and I can't wait to see what they add in the future. This all works so well too. Dropouts aren't even really a problem in this because it resyncs everyone's save files as you connect, and you can easily reconnect on the fly, which was a really good thing for me because I was having a lot of connection issues at the time. Not related to the mod, by the way, I was just having driver issues. Briefly getting 959 shines after depositing all the blue coins was a bit weird though. Just strafing. Whoa, what is up with...
959, what?
What? Wait, what?
Guys, we went above and beyond! We went above and beyond!
Even further beyond!
959? How? Wait, hold up.
Okay, it's at 119 now. If you want a more personal experience, there's another mod called Super Mario Sunshine Co-op made by the Haywire. A mod that does what it sounds like and makes Luigi player too. I played this with my friend Thomas, and this was also a lot of fun. It's pretty unpolished in areas, like enemies despawn a lot when the other player is far away, blooper surfing is a little bit of a mess for a variety of reasons.
I'm assuming I press A to jump, right? Or is it just like you're committed? Oh hey, I
Luigi,
won.
how dare you! Oh god, the sound of 2 bloopers racing at once is very loud.
Oh yeah, it kind of is.
Alright, back to the bloopers.
Yeah, right. So it's just like with A, right? Alright, ah! You suck!
What was that? How did we die?
Great question.
Did it not like that I did that shortcut?
If the game punished you for trying to speedrun...
I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, just...
It's so loud when 2 bloopers are going on at once.
Yeah, it activate. Yeah, it's back to over. Ah!
Is it because
Well-
we're too far?
Maybe
Why did it kill us both then?
I didn't mean.
Wait, did you cheat the You crossed the checkpoint for me!
I did? Oh!
Oh my god.
I'll just
Wow.
How
dare you? I was doing the speed run. And I still have no idea what happened here. You know, I was really hoping I could throw you last second. Whoa, what was...
What?
Back to Bianco Hills it is. Honestly, a lot of this stuff made this mod even more fun to me. We had plenty of good laughs from all of this added jank, and I cannot thank the developer enough for allowing players to pick up and throw each other, because that led to a lot of great moments.
No, Brendan, Brendan, don't you dare throw me off, Brendan, you know Luigi's afraid of heights, Brendan.
Your life is in my hands.
Oh, brother, help me.
Long live the king.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hello.
This
Oh,
is
hey, how's it
awkward.
going?
This is
Yeah.
awkward.
Oh yeah, it's a little awkward, isn't it?
I, of course, also attempted to teach Thomas rocket storage, and that was fun. We're to strafe off the edge right now.
Ow!
And that was only a 3.
That was only with 3?
You want to see me doing a full tank?
No.
Alright, full tank.
Oh. There he goes. Oh. Brendan.
I can't even see Corona Mountain anymore. Alright, you have like 5 minutes until Isle Delfino implodes.
Oh, it's 5 minutes?
Level when you're falling off a pit.
Okay. Oh no!
It's the final hours, Thomas.
Yeah, I know! You think I don't know that?
The bell.
God. God, the bell makes it more terrifying.
Thomas, look!
I know, I see it! I see him coming!
I think I'm gonna land in the water, which will be very anticlimactic.
I swear to God, if you land in the water.
Alright, well, the apocalypse was greatly exaggerated. I can get it right this time.
Oh no.
I showed him a few of Sunshine's more bizarre glitches too, which also led to some fun moments. As it's lowering.
Alright. What? Brandon?
What?
Why are you underground? Why are you underground, Brendan?
I'm underwater.
Why?
Oh, don't kill all the bloopers.
Oh, why not?
I want to show you a thing.
Oh, okay.
Go in the sewer. It's under the box. Alright.
Okay.
Walk backwards a little bit, jump once.
Or right here?
Anywhere.
Okay.
Alright, come back. Now just run into the bloopers. I'm being serious, run into them.
What? Luigi has blood on his hands.
Mario's jump hitbox is always active when you jump into sewer for some reason, so you can just run into enemies. You can even get a blue coin early by doing that. This was a really great mod. My only real issue is the aspect ratio being 2 4x3 screens squished to 16:9, and it doesn't look good. I've also heard there's some performance issues. We played up until Peanut Park and I didn't see anything, but I'd assume something bigger like Noki Bay would be where that issue arises. They're working on a big update that'll improve the performance dramatically, so that's something to look forward to if that's an issue to you. This one is interesting. Super Doot Sunshine, made by Warspy King. This is that Kaizo hack I mentioned way earlier. It rearranges every level, shine sprite, and blue coin in the game to make an immeasurably harder experience that demands you to know about every speedrunning technique. I think I know of all of them at this point, but actually doing them is a little different. Guys, I can do the instant momentum spin jump like once out of 20 attempts. I don't think this hack is made for me. Thankfully, not only is every mission in the game labeled by their difficulty, but every single mission is unlocked the moment you open the level up. This allowed me to actually get a whole 6 shine sprites, and I actually had a pretty good time doing so for the most part. It was just really cool seeing how they reimagined these missions to be much harder. The Shadow Mario chases are actually really cool conceptually because each of them have their own gimmicks. Like the one in Gelato Beach multiplies, the one in Pianta Village is invisible, and the one in Delfino Plaza has a cartoonishly long health bar that fully regenerates at certain points in its path. That was a little maddening. Admittedly, these were pretty obnoxious to actually play, but I love that each of these were actually really creative and were aiming to be different. The base game probably should have done something similar, not exactly like this, obviously, but you know what I mean. Other than that, the polluted piranhas are actually kinda a challenge in this. The one in the airstrip isn't too bad after setting up a bunch of barrels just right. The first one in Delfino Plaza was actually the easiest, just requires some spam spraying. The one in Bianco Hills was pretty tricky because you have to rely on these skeeters to bounce up to, but it's also not too bad once you get in the rhythm of it. This one led to me hearing a Mario voice clip I've never heard of before, at least I don't think I have, which was kinda shocking considering how much I played this game. I never even open up Rico Harbor because this polluted piranha is so obnoxious. You have to spin jump, hover, spam spray on your way down, and hope the timing and water RNG works in your favor. You also lose all of your progress if the polluted piranha decides to retreat into its goop generator. I'm not complaining because this kind of thing is the point in these hacks, I'm just explaining why you don't see any Rico Harbor footage in this video. Another intermission here because Super Doot Sunshine has actually updated, literally just 2 days after I finished recording it too. There's a couple changes, but the biggest one would be the fact that apparently every level is now available from the earliest Delfino Plaza state. So if you didn't want to deal with the polluted piranhas, I guess you don't have to do that anymore. There's some missions I attempted but never actually finished because they were kinda insane. They turned the first PD fight into a floor is lava level, and oh my god, look at this. I eventually learned you can walk on the edge of this path, but I never actually made it any further than this. I'm sure I could have gone to the river, but then I'd still have all of this afterwards. So yeah, I think I'm good. The Mantis Storm 2.0 is also nuts. This was my first attempt. And it only gets worse. Yeah, I didn't get a ton of shines in my time with Doot. It was mostly the Shadow Mario chases, a couple polluted piranhas, and also this one Il Piantissimo race. This one wasn't too bad outside of bonking into him a lot. There's no real struggle here if you're good with sunshine movement. This mod gets so much more insane than anything you're seeing in my footage though, because no way will I ever be good enough to properly showcase how ridiculous this mod gets. This hack definitely wasn't made for people like me, or even most people, but for speedrunners, and to those people, I can see being so thoroughly tested with both your raw skills and even knowledge of this game to this degree being loads of fun. So many shines and blue coins require so many different glitches to obtain, and figuring out exactly how to get these things almost turns this into a puzzle game. This means a game's appeal is inherently incredibly limited, but this can easily be hundreds of hours of fun if you're the right kind of person, and even if you're not, watching someone else play is a lot of fun too. I've been really enjoying Average Trey's edited down videos of his streams of this game on his second channel, Below Average Trey, so go watch those if that sounds interesting to you. Alright, this is one of the big ones. Super Mario Sunburn by Joshua MKO2 and Epic Wade, along with the rest of the Eclipse team. This is the mod that aims to improve the original game by doing some smaller stuff like adding coins to levels to make 100 coin shines less tedious, giving Shadow Mario his unused health bar back, adding autosaves, which is especially great for blue coins because you no longer have to deal with that save window. Built-in widescreen that looks so much better than the existing Gecko code, new moves like the long jump and the hover burst, the ability to physically walk to one level to another, and some bigger things. Mainly that the fact that this is a way more open game than the original. Instead of needing the Shadow Mario shines to beat the game, you can get whatever shines you want as long as you get 70 of them somehow. You can beat the game, or at least you can turn on a setting that does that, but I mean, why wouldn't you have that on? Come on. I love this change because in the original, any extra shine didn't matter unless you were going for 100%. I blame this weird structure for the internet's hatred of blue coins. They only suck if you're going for all of them and you don't know where the last few are. I promise they're actually really fun otherwise. Or you can just be like me and know where all 240 of them are, but I know most people aren't willing to do that. I'm getting off topic. I also love the added abilities. I didn't use them much in my first couple runs of this mod because my brain is so hardwired to play this game in a specific way at this point, but I went out of my way to use some of them for this playthrough. And dude, I'm just so happy the long jump is back. It's so nice. The animation itself looks a bit weird to me, but it's such a useful jump in so many spots, especially when you're carrying fruit. By default, the long jump is mapped to Z, which doesn't feel good on a real GameCube controller, but you can change it to L in the settings, which also remaps strafe to Z. Using the Z button at all for moves like that doesn't feel great, but strafing is such a rare thing in this game it almost doesn't matter. I exclusively use it for 2 different glitches. One of them using the Z button doesn't really matter, but for rocket storage, oh wow, this is so much harder. They also re-added the backflip, which was technically already in Sunshine, but that backflip required FLUDD and didn't allow you to hover out of it. This one does and is a lot more useful for it. They even added some new moves related to FLUDD. There's the hover burst, which basically allows you to double jump using the hover nozzle by pressing A immediately after initiating a hover. I can see this one being really fun to chain with other moves and just being incredibly useful in general, but I didn't use it as much as I probably should have. I think it's because I just never felt like I had to, so I just didn't. Because I use this move a lot more in a hack I'm going to be covering in just a bit. Another fun move is the rocket dive, where you dive right before you blast off and get shot really far. This one is just fun to me, but I wasn't actually able to use it effectively. Yeah, I think it's going to take me some time actually integrating these moves into my general Sunshine gameplay. There's some other added FLUDD moves, but those two are my favorite. But yeah, I really like these new moves. They do nothing but improve the game's flow, and if you disagree with me for whatever reason, you can actually turn them off. However, all of these are just some of the smaller changes, and I'm honestly not a fan of the bigger changes this game does. The big thing this mod does is it makes the shines no longer boot you out of the level, and they stuff as many shines into each level at once as possible. This leads to a lot of messy level design. Cramming all of these mission-specific things into one map makes for some annoying design in spots and outright breaks some challenges in others. Like, why would I ever load up Secret of the Dirty Lake when I can just get that very shine in literally any other episode and completely ignore the challenge? This Monty Mole shooting bullet builds on Peanut Beach at all times is just so annoying, and I really dislike how this almost entirely kills the progression within the levels themselves. Every level was about systemically fixing everything wrong with it, having each level start as a gross and polluted mess to then bring back the level to its former beauty through your actions and have the characters within it living better lives for it is seriously one of my favorite things about the original. And it's not nearly as impactful in Sunburn, where you can do most missions in whatever order. It's technically still there, you're seeing it shown right now, but when everything is this disjointed, it just does not have the same impact. It also just doesn't work with a lot of missions because the level designs are too contradictory towards each other. Basically every Serena Beach mission is still segmented because of this, making it not that different from the original, which just feels so inconsistent and it makes it so obvious the game was not designed with this kind of design in mind. I'm not even big on the extra coins if I'm being honest. Some of the original levels absolutely needed extra coins, but they really went overboard with some of these. Especially because you can just reload the level and respawn all of the coins while maintaining your existing coin count. You really do just get all of the 100 coin shines on the way, which kind of defeats the whole point in these. I'm also not big on being able to enter levels from other levels. It's pretty cool seeing the newly added terrain to accommodate this new feature. They all feel pretty natural to me. I just don't really see what this adds aside from allowing you to break the game. Like when I first played Sunburn, I swam to Peanut Park before it was unlocked, so I got the Bowser Jr. reveal cutscene before Peach was actually kidnapped. I also find myself occasionally going into another level when I didn't mean to, which could potentially be really bad depending on what I'm doing. I'm not gonna deny the novelty of swimming from Delfino Plaza to Rico Harbor being there, like that's something I wanted to do as a kid but couldn't. I'm just not convinced this is anything beyond a novelty, at least from a gameplay perspective, because I do appreciate that this does do more to make Isle Delfino feel like a real island. But once again, I just don't feel like this meshes well with what's already there. It's a thing that was added in a mod and it feels that way. There's also some admittedly mostly small bugs I'd like to point out, like Yoshi doesn't disintegrate in the water unless you're riding him. Some HD textures aren't applied in spots when they are in the vanilla game. And this one is actually a big one. When I recorded Sunburn for this video, my save corrupted halfway through. I asked on the Discord and apparently this just happens on Dolphins sometimes. If this does happen to you, don't worry, it's a relatively easy fix. You just have to delete these save files shown on screen. None of these are your main file with all the shines and blue coins or anything, just the settings, so no big loss if you have to delete them. However, despite all of this, I can't deny that this mod absolutely improves the pacing. I don't think all the sacrifices are worth it, and I disagree with some of the creative decisions, but I'm clearly in the minority. Most people seem to prefer this to the original, and I can't say they're wrong for it. I can't really even criticize this mod too much, because most of the issues I have with it are just inherent to what it's trying to do. Sunshine was not designed to be played like this, so obviously sacrifices are gonna have to be made to get to this point. And I may not think it's totally worth it, but clearly a lot of other people do. In fact, I've seen multiple people say that they didn't like Mario Sunshine until they played Sunburn. And that is awesome to me. Like, the fact that this mod changed people's minds on my favorite game, like, obviously I'm gonna be stoked about that. Really, the only big criticism I have of this mod is the very first line on the Game Banana page. It says, what Sunshine should have been in 2002, and Considering everything I just talked about, I don't think that's a fair thing to say. But yeah, small thing. So yeah, I obviously prefer the original, but this is still a really cool way to re-experience this game. It's not preferable to me, but it's still really fun for its own reasons. In fact, I had no intentions of getting 100% in Sunburn for this video, but I maybe kind of accidentally did. Guys, I literally just 100%ed this game twice like 2 weeks ago, and I did it again. I don't know if I've made it clear, but I really love this game. I actually really wish there was a Sunburn Light, a mod where the main missions are all still segmented and the main shines boot you out, but all the extra shines don't. I don't think that would mess with any existing game design, it would just be a straight improvement to me. I'd love to do things like get the secret shine in the Dune Bud staircase in Gelato on my way to the Sandbird, or set up both the Goldbird and Sand Pattern shines in Delfino Plaza, to then get both of them only seconds apart in the same game where I get the clean design of all the main missions being segmented. That might not be worth it from a modder's perspective because I know I'm in the minority on this, I just wanted to put that out there because that sounds like the perfect balance that would result in my favorite way to play my favorite game. Okay, I'm talking about this one very late in this video's production because the trailer just came out. It's only a trailer, so there's not a ton to talk about, but it still looks really cool. Super Mario Sunshine 2001 is a full beta restoration mod that brings many of the old screenshots and footage to life, and even the cut train system. This mod is by Portable Productions, the same person behind Luigi's Mansion beta restoration. This is the coolest thing, man, because I've been wanting to play these old builds for a long time. And we'll finally have what seems to be about as accurate of an approximation as you can get. They use the recreations of early Delfino Plaza and Bianco Hills found in other mods and just completely nailed the early Sunshine vibe in any area they had to make from scratch. They even recreated the old Space World HUD. I've also noticed that there is no hover nozzle in this trailer. Now I'm aware that the hover nozzle was actually introduced pretty late in Sunshine's development, so I guess this mod isn't gonna have that, which will be pretty interesting to play. On top of all of this, it's an original Sunshine experience with a lot of custom stuff, which is something I'll always be excited for because those aren't common. Again, it's only a trailer so far, but I really love what I see here, so please keep an eye out for this one. I know I will. I just wish this wasn't revealed so late in this video's creation because I was honestly a little upset when I saw this trailer. Anyway, the last mod I wanted to talk about is Super Mario Eclipse, made by the same people behind Super Mario Sunburn. This is the big one. This is the one I've been wanting to exist since I learned what a ROM hack is. It's a pseudo enhancement mod, pseudo sequel, pseudo beta restoration, all in one package. The idea of this is to have all of Sunshine in this mod, but to also add a ton of new content, bringing the game's total shine count to 240. So yeah, I'm using that Sonic 3 and Knuckles comparison again. They seem to be doing it in really cool ways, like they recreated the super early Delfino Plaza from the Space World trailer, and in universe it's supposed to be Delfino Plaza in the past before a massive overhaul. I love this one Pianta that says he doesn't know what a shine gate is, but they're adding one. Exploring this map is a dream come true to me. I didn't realize it'd be this small, but I'm still so happy. They even have the trampoline stew! My favorite one is the Pianta Pit, an area below Pianta Village where fallen Piantas formed a new society because no one has actually bothered to rescue them. Dude, they literally have a god down there. This is so funny. I love this one Pianta that blames Mario for pushing him off while he was walking his chain chomplets because he's going off outdated information and still thinks Mario did all of this because he's been stuck down here this whole time. That's exactly the kind of world building I loved about the original game, and this mod seems to be maintaining that so well. Not every level is aiming to make this feel like one cohesive world like the original game did, but that's fine. The original Sunshine did that too. As long as I get plenty of moments like this, I am good. Within the second demo, there's even a tease of the Crab Island found in the game's intro, and dude, I've always wanted to explore those surrounding islands, and I'm gonna be able to do that soon? This mod is just childhood dream fulfillment to me. There's also other playable characters like Luigi and Il Piantissimo. Luigi is exactly what you'd expect, and Il Piantissimo is nuts. He doesn't have FLUDD, but he has some pretty insane running and jumping capabilities. Not only is his jump higher, but you can also double jump, and it gets even more insane because you can spin jump into a double spin jump, and oh my god, what? This is somehow more broken than Luigi and Mario 64 DS. I am impressed they were able to do that. He's absolutely way more unwieldy than Mario, both because of his higher speed and lack of FLUDD, but he has so much more potential. The levels are pretty great too. I didn't love everything, like I felt like there was too much waiting on this one, and I don't think everyone will love that some of these levels are ported from other games, but I still had a blast with almost everything these two demos had to offer. There's so many fun platforming challenges, really cool level themes, and even some pretty great music in this. Though I should point out the current version of this demo actually does not have any custom music in it. I believe it's because of some drama behind the scenes, which is a really shame. Some of these songs are actually fantastic. Anyway, because of that, I'm actually playing an older version of this demo that lacks the autosave, if you're wondering why that's there, despite being in Sunburn. I really think this will end up being one of the best pieces of Nintendo fan content once it releases, which won't be long. The game is planned to be released on Sunshine's 22nd anniversary on August 26th of this year, so yeah, not long at all. There's currently 2 demos to play. The first one doesn't have a ton. Heck, that one Pianta Pit level I showed in that demo is literally just like a circle and a handful of trees. It's a proof of concept, don't worry. But the second demo is massive with over 40 shine sprites available. But since it's coming out so soon, I might actually recommend waiting the few months, or not, it's up to you. As much as I love this demo, I unfortunately never 100%ed it, I just got most shines. They do tell you how many shines and blue coins each level has when you load them up, but they don't keep track of how many of those you actually have, so completing the game becomes a mess if you're not actively keeping track on your own. And I didn't do that, and I don't know where the handful of shines and blue coins I'm missing are, so yeah. I really hope this gets fixed for the full release, but it might not for some pretty understandable reasons. Hey, this man put autosave in Super Mario Sunshine. If he wants a break, he deserves one. It's also worth noting that this mod, along with Sunburn and co-op, uses the better Sunshine engine, which allows for things like native widescreen and yeah, autosave. It also has 60 FPS support, but that unfortunately doesn't seem to be any better than the Gecko code. It's definitely nice having it just be a toggleable setting in the game itself though. But the widescreen code is so much better. The black bars actually go across the whole screen, the map screen no longer jankily shows the game outside the 4x3 boundaries, and the falling star bug is fixed. So box stars are back. My only real issue is that the cutscenes are still stretched, but I'm not sure if that can be fixed or not. My only solution is to map the aspect ratio setting to a hotkey and press it whenever a cutscene is playing, which obviously isn't the most elegant solution. But hey, better Sunshine engine is absolutely one of the best things to come from the Mario Sunshine modding scene. I hope every mod ever uses this from now on. Honestly, this video was birthed because I decided to go deep down the Sunshine modding rabbit hole, and I have formed a lot of opinions on a lot of cool hacks, and I just wanted to share those opinions and the hacks themselves. I'm just so happy Sunshine has gotten to the point it's at. It's obviously very far from 64, and I do not see it ever getting anywhere close to where it is right now, but we still have a lot of cool stuff to play with right now, and even in the near future. There are other mods out there that I didn't cover, like Mario Solar Shine, which I didn't cover because the demo was taken down. There's a Mario Chaos Edition mod, I didn't cover that just because I didn't feel like I would have much to say. There's a few different multiplayer mods, actually co-op was just the one I thought that looked the best. And I'm just happy we're at this point. Little 12-year-old me would have been ecstatic to see where we're at. Heck, 25-year-old me is ecstatic to see where we're at. So I just wanted to thank every Sunshine modder who has contributed to Sunshine getting to where it is today. Whether I mentioned you by name or not in this video, sorry, it's hard crediting everyone. I really, really appreciate all of you for helping me get all this extra life out of this game that I love, because I know Nintendo would never do that. Okay, so before I end this video, I just want to quickly say, yes, my Sonic 1 video has been in production for literal years, and I keep on talking about that. I'm sorry, motivation is a real issue with this video because it's so big. What I will say is that I don't want to get to a point where I go another 9 months or even a year like I did those, I think, 2 times without uploading. I don't want that to happen again because I actually do really enjoy making videos. I've made most of this video in a pretty short time span, and like just filming right now I haven't actually edited it, but I've done everything else within a couple weeks, and I don't know, it just reminded me how much I actually enjoy doing this and how I probably shouldn't let that happen again. So I'm not gonna lie, the Sonic 1 video, the motivation is gonna continue to be an issue, but if I decide that it's too much of an issue, I'm just gonna move away from it and focus on something smaller. And yeah, this 40-minute video is smaller, I know. It was supposed to be a small video, I don't know why I ever thought a video on this game, my favorite game ever, would ever be short, even if it's not focusing on the main game. But I apparently thought that at one time. But whatever, I had a great time making this video, and I really hope anyone watching it enjoyed it too. So, yeah, goodbye everyone.